So if you're a risk and compliance team, there's best practices are focused on you too, because ultimately you need to report on compliance. And the best way to report on compliance from a risk perspective is to look at the life cycle of the keys, to understand the key governance, to utilize the tools from your guidelines, NIST, from all the other things to say this is how we're going to follow each control family. But ultimately it comes down to the key governance, understanding your inventory, understanding your entire organization's inventory around SSH, enforcing the policy and recommending the policy that needs to be enforced from a compliance perspective, and then finally continuous monitoring. So you have the ability to report on these applications, these users, everything on a continuous basis. You have your monthly reporting, your weekly reporting, whatever it may be, and the system's doing it for you. You're not going out and trying to find this information yourself. The system is giving you what you need from a perspective of business owners to everything else. I've ran into some places where they know that there needs to be a process in place in a product. But what they do when they don't want to purchase something is they try to script things. And so they'll have this administrator script this long script that's taking care of specific applications or users, and it does the rotation for them. But they often forget that the script needs to be run every 3 months, or the script gets deleted, or a user leaves the organization and things are missed. So compliance is not met, and these scripts are basically put back into a holding cell because they're never going to be used again, whereas a solution like Venafi is automated. It's doing it for you, it's scheduled, you've scheduled it, you're only touching it once. Not a script where you have to update servers, you have to update. We know of all that. So we're auto-detecting all of that stuff through our process and our discovery, where a script doesn't. It's hard-coded. You have to go back in and do everything and update. So the care and feed of the script is often what makes them fail the second time. So then they have to go to a product. Ultimately, why I would tell a risk and compliance team to consider Venafi, SSH is a machine identity, right? And we are the leader in machine identities. But ultimately what it does from a perspective, if you're looking at just product and solution, we have a network discovery tool that can go out and find anything listening on port 22, from network appliances to servers to your phone. If it was listening, we'd find it. But in addition, we have a process that crawls the boxes, and we can find all keys and map the keys to business areas. So we know everywhere that specific private key is touching. When you try to do this yourself outside of a Venafi solution, the mapping's the hardest part. You don't know when these connections are up. You've got to go look at every server's host files to see where they're connecting to, or their SSH config file. And if you don't know that, you've not mapped the application or the automated process. So you have the potential of breaking processes that are already in place, where the intelligence of Venafi, it's doing it for you. You can create reports on it. You can now start meeting with the business areas and talk intellectually about this is how all of this stuff is mapping up. Do you guys agree, and when would you want to start rotation to make them compliant? It's very easy to start meeting with the teams that have heavy pushback. Don't screw up my process, or don't screw up my servers. But when you know and you can actually talk with them because you see the entire mapping, that's when they start to listen, and that's when they buy on and say, we're going to use the Venafi solution to do our rotation because it's got everything in there, and it's actually got extra servers that we were unaware of, right? So we're pointing out things that they don't 100% know of themselves, and that's why there's such heavy pushback. Now there's no pushback anymore because we're giving them a full inventory of their processes that are in place. So the risk of actually breaking an automated process is far lower than what it would be from a perspective of the business owner taking care of their own process.
Still have questions? Turn to Venafi, the machine identity experts. Check out our channel or visit venafi.com to learn about all things encryption, certificate management, and more.